What's up, everybody? So great to see you. I have another fantastic guest this month, my good friend, Christine Bongard. We met during my Microsoft days. And so this was like 10 years ago.
Right, yeah.
Mm, And, we're still making a lot of progress with women in tech. And thanks to you, really, and so many women. But at that time, I mean, you'd look around conferences and it was maybe 80, 90%, men. And I remember I was so excited to just like, where was the women event?
Yes,
You're just,
yes.
you want to be around like this safe area where maybe you can turn off a little bit and you just feel a bit of a safety. And so that's how I met Christine. She founded the WIT Network. I'm going to let her talk a bit about herself. Please, if you're listening or watching today, say what's up. Let us know where you are at. Make some comments, ask some questions. Can't wait to hear from you. Be sure to connect with Christine. But with that, I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about the journey before the WIT Network to where you are today.
Yeah, sure. First, thanks so much for having me, and I'm so glad we got the memo to wear our sea green on this session today. So we're matching. Yeah, so I've been a woman in technology my whole career. I had this incredible opportunity to get involved with a tech startup in the early part of my career, and I just, gosh, thinking back to where I was at that time, I had no idea where that journey was going to lead me. But we had that company for 27 years, and it just, I'm so grateful for the experience of that, the good, the bad, and the ugly of a tech, entrepreneur journey, because there definitely were a lot of ups and downs. But that's where I really fell in love with technology. Just the fast paced, changing transformation. I remember back then it was like every 3 years we had to reevaluate our strategy and how we were going to help our customers and how the technology was changing, what we had to prepare for. Now it's like every month, every 3 months, the technology changes. So it's a whole different ball game. But that 27 years, I was one of the only women at every single thing I did, every customer meeting, every partner meeting, conferences, networking events. It's like, where are my people? So, that's kind of really what prompted me to be passionate around building spaces for women. And not only that, just promoting and inspiring women to come into the tech industry, stay in the tech industry, and be a part of it, because it's been so good to me and it's been such a great ride. And I want others to get to have a similar experience. So yeah, woman in tech, here I am.
So, so tell me about like that pivot for you because you were working at a company. When did you decide to leave, go all in on the WIT network? The Women in Tech Network is what Christine
Yeah.
leads, nonprofit organization, 14,000 women across the globe. This woman has nurtured. Okay. How did that like switch happen for you? Why did you do that? When did you do it? What was it like for you?
Yeah, well, let's go back a little bit. So, the Microsoft days where we met, and I met so many incredible people through the Microsoft Inspire conference and the Microsoft Partner Advisory Councils, really built a whole network ecosystem within that framework, and just lots of conversations about how important it was to have this community where women could meet and come together outside of the Microsoft Partner Conference, right? Because we had the Women in Technology luncheon every year, and the women were saying we need something more, and we want to meet in our local communities. We need help. We need access to education and mentors, and so the idea of building this larger community that was global and virtual. That's how the WIT Network itself was born. And so we're in our 7th year, which is incredible. As you mentioned, we have 14,000 members in 82 countries around the world. And
Chills. Chills.
I know, right? And we have over 60 local communities that have actually taken the mission and meet in person. And so, we like to say the WIT Network has a two-pronged membership approach. One is all the in-person events through your local geo, but then there's all the virtual education, learning, career development, leadership development, and things of that nature. So there were 5 of us. Shout out Julie Simpson, Corrine Sharp, Gail Mercer McKay, Jennifer Didier. We founded the WIT Network. And about 3 years ago, it just was getting bigger and bigger by the day, and the demands were getting greater. And we had so many plans for how to continue to expand it and grow it. I made the decision to leave my corporate job in IT and to come and do this full time. And, it was a daunting decision because I had always been in corporate. I'd always had a full-time job in corporate. And, that's where I saw the next 5 years. But since I just made the change and I made the decision and stepped into this role, honestly, I have never looked back. And I wouldn't even really consider, doing anything different than what I'm doing right now. I am an entrepreneur. I'm running a business. I'm tapping into all of the great experience that I've had previously with, not only running a business, building strategy, using technology to serve, handling customers, working with customers, employees, partners. But I also get to serve. And as it's one of the greatest joys of my life is to apply all of my experience and my business skills to bring something together for the greater good and to help women. And it's a pleasure. So I'm enjoying every minute of it. It's hard, but it's worth it, and it's a great experience.
What a journey. And what you're doing is purposeful. It feels like you're not just serving, but you're fulfilling your purpose on this short amount of time
Yeah.
that we
Can I
got.
tell you a quick story?
Please.
Because I think it may resonate with a lot of folks. So, my whole career, that 27 years, I would go to conferences and events and leadership and hear people speak. And you'd always meet people that said, "Oh, I have found what I've always was meant to do. And I've tapped into my passion and I'm living my dream and I'm, living with purpose." And I used to struggle, as happy as I was for those people. I used to struggle for myself because I'm an achiever and I'm always striving for the next thing. And, I used to question, how come I don't know what my purpose is? How come I'm not living that? How come I can't say those words? I mean, I loved what I did. I enjoyed my work, but that's different from living with purpose. And I always kind of felt a little down about it. And
Yeah.
I'll never forget this, but on our very first webinar for the WIT Network, it was September 27th, September 27th, 2017. And Gabriella Schuster helped us announce the birth of the WIT Network. And I got so much feedback. People were messaging me everywhere how excited they were. And I remember sitting at my desk saying, I found my purpose. This
Yeah.
is what I'm meant to do. Like, it just hit me like a wash over my whole body. And again, as I said before, like, I've never looked back. I just knew this was it, because again, it's this combination of when you're tapping into natural skills and experience that you've built up over all this time and applying it to your work, which also has this purpose. It's just a magic, like, trifecta.
Yeah. I love that story. Thank you for sharing. And I feel like I had a similar moment too, where it's like I knew I wanted to share my voice. I didn't know how, and I felt that like knowing similar. So many professionals know that feeling. I'd
Yeah.
say 99%
Mhm.
like their jobs and what they do, but do not feel purposeful.
Right,
We don't.
right.
And similar to you, it was like there's something more. And when I shared my voice and got that feedback, it was like it washed over me too, that there was no going back.
Yeah,
Like, this is where we're going. and hold on. And you know how I think that happens though, Christine? It's being open to the possibility of something else. And you were like, hey, this is interesting. I like this. I'm going to do this at work. Sidebar. Like you just were kind of adding and going and then it happened. And I hope that's really inspirational for a lot of people because you don't always have to have a plan. It's like you just keep feeling into
Yeah.
what feels and
Yeah.
ignites excellence, right?
Yeah, that's a great point, that I don't know that if it's really something you can plan, because it evolves,
Yes.
and I do think about you, honestly, as somebody who is also living with passion and living and working in this state of joy. Like when I see your videos and I see the things that you're sharing, it's hard to believe you did anything before that, because you are lit up, and there's such an authenticity about your presence. And I think, and the same with me, a lot of times I can just talk and talk and talk and talk about what I do, but it's because it's just real, like I'm living authentically because this is what I love. And I see the same, with you when you're sharing your work with the world. So yeah, we're really fortunate, and I don't take it for granted,
Yeah.
because I had a lot of years where I didn't have it. And I understand that. And it is hard. It's elusive sometimes, but I'm very, very grateful.
Yes, absolutely. You see what she just did? She acknowledged how amazing she is, but then she also kind of lit me up, and that made me feel so nice.
Aw.
I think that's like a big thing professional women forget to do. Well, we for sure don't lift our own self, and then it's really hard for other women to sometimes uplift us.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about there's just been a lot of freaking change 2024, 2025.
Yeah.
You have thousands of women that are looking to you. What's sort of the pulse that you're feeling right now with professional women, with the group that you have? What are the challenges that you're hearing the most about?
Oh boy, that is a loaded question, especially right now.
A couple.
Yeah, well, I think there's a few things. I think that we're living in a state of a lot of uncertainty about DEI.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to make this political at all, but there's definitely an undercurrent of what's happening with that, and how will corporate America and the corporate global world respond to that. Will companies and leaders still double down on the fact that diverse teams and inclusion efforts, help support a healthy organization, not only with employee satisfaction and innovation and customer sat, but in profits and better sales results. Those are facts that are based on research, right? And so we don't know, will our companies still support it, or will our companies shy away, and because it's mainstream, to maybe not support those efforts. And I think women and people in general are feeling, how will that impact me? How is that going to show up in how I'm doing my job and what I'm doing for my business? And so, there's a lot of uncertainty around that. Right now, I'm trying to find leaders who are willing to talk about that and share what people can do to shield themselves, or what people can do to support one another in their organizations as we go through this transitional time. I think if you look at the history of these types of movements, there's you know, a lot of ups and downs, right? So we may be in a down, it's going to bounce back. That's what I try to instill hope, that there may be an adverse reaction to some things that are happening. But in the end, I do think it will flatten out and reason out back to a place that's right, where we are having inclusive workforces, and we are having diverse teams, and we're still working hard to make sure that representation matters, because it does. So I think we have a lot of folks dealing with that. We're coming off of a 2 to 3 year period of a tremendous amount of layoffs in the industry. And so I think, there's concern about that. There's a lot of people that are still out of work. There are people that are maybe afraid to make a change because of that. And that holds people back, right? That's a fear, that potentially holds people back. People may not be happy in a role, but they'll say, it's turbulent waters out there. I'm going to stay where I am. And I certainly understand that. But I would challenge them to say, what can you do to build skills up? What can you do to help yourself develop further? So when it gets a little calmer, when the waters change, you're ready to go. You're armed, you're amped up, you've taken yourself developmentally to the next level. And that's a lot of what the WIT Network tries to provide: leadership development, professional development, skills building. What can you embrace with AI? That would be my third pillar, I think, of what's happening out there. Is there's AI technology is out there, and what can we do as workers what can we do to learn the technology, embrace it, challenge ourselves to figure out how to be more efficient with our tasks, to allow us more time to be innovative, to be creative, to work with customers. Like, think about it. The robots and the technology cannot do those things.
Yeah.
Those are the things that are special for humans. So if you look at your job and you think about all of those parts, the parts that the AI can't do, you want to make that pie of your day bigger, because that's where the impact is going to come. That's where you're going to stand out. That's where you're going to shine to your customers, to your leaders. And so, I think those are things that I'm trying to help women understand. The research is showing that women are not adopting AI technology as fast as men. They're waiting for permission. They're not as confident. And we have to say and drive home the message that, come on, the time is now. This is a great opportunity for women to sort of level that playing field in terms of the gender gap with technology.
Yeah.
And so it's an exciting time. And so let's not be fearful. Let's understand it's here to stay. And what can you do to adopt this personally to help you scale your career? So that's a snapshot of, I think, a couple of the big things that are on women's minds right now. And hopefully we're a source of inspiration and also education on those things to help women get through it.
Yeah, that's a great recap. I think that you hit the nail on the head, Christine. All those things as well.
It's a lot going on right now.
I mean, we're in a time of transformation that hasn't happened since maybe, Civil War, kind of timeline. So we're just really buckle up, keep buckling up. And I want to just say, and it's Women's History Month.
Yeah.
And International Women's Day coming up.
That's right.
And the WIT Network is honoring that. By the way, I am a community leader of one of those 82 GOs.
Thank you.
That's right. That's right. So if you're in Austin, you're interested, you just ping me. We'd love to have you join some of our events. And we're going to be honoring International Women's Day and firing up Texas and the WIT Network at the conference. I want you to talk a little bit about what this conference, the inspiration behind Igniting Excellence, what can people be excited about? I will be there. I will be there not only doing a session, but I'm going to be supporting and emceeing. Christine has given me the opportunity to step into something I've wanted to do. So thank you. I would love for you to just talk a little bit about what's in store for that.
Sure. Well, I can't wait, by the way, to see you on the stage with your cowboy hat and your boots and bringing some of that Texas flair.
I've been working on my outfit. Okay, I have a couple things.
I mean, you were the perfect person for this, so I'm really excited that you're going to do it. You said right before this segment, you said, buckle up, and I was going to comment on that. Yeah, buckle up, but also find your community, to grab hands together, and no one needs to go through all of this alone. And that's kind of, I'll tie this to the conference, don't worry, but that's sort of what I also envision the WIT Network to be, is this safe place for women to land and hunker down and all lock arms and kind of get through this stuff together. It's I don't know, just kind of like my nice way to look at it. And so the conference is really an extension of that, because our first two International Women's Day conferences were in person. The first one was in Kansas City, and the second one was in Toronto, and they were both really, really great. I mean, we got so much wonderful feedback. Then the pandemic hit, actually, as I was flying home from Toronto in 2020, the world was ending. And and we've had to do them virtual, ever since. And so I get a lot of emails from women saying, when can we be together in person again? And I think there's just, listen, it's a lot of money to do an in-person conference. It's a lot of work. It puts a lot of strain on us, but I think there is something special about being together in person, being able to give a hug, being able to see a smile, like looking eye to eye in real time with people is super meaningful. And so, we thought it was time. We thought it was what our community needed. And, we're happy to provide it. So we selected Dallas. We're doing it in partnership with the IAMCP, the International Association of Microsoft Channel Partners. They're going to have their conference. Their North America Illuminate is in the first part of the week. We're the second part of the week. And we thought that might be nice because some of our community members are in both organizations. And this way they could, get a double value out of the event. But the event is titled Igniting Excellence, Women Coming Together to Shape the Future. And really the thought behind that is I wanted to provide a lot of inspiration and also practical how-to for women to really take a hold of their career, really get a hold of their dreams. What are their next steps? Whether it's a promotion, whether it's a new role in their company, whether it's a new job, whether they want to start a business, whether they want to pivot into tech, whatever that dream is, like now is the time to start to set your sights on that and what is needed to go from A to B, to take that first step. And also, not wait for permit, be coached and be inspired to not wait for permission, not to wait for your manager or your HR leaders to set out a career path. Long gone are those days when people had the time to really provide that to employees. And it's not a knock as much as it's just that times are different now and they're not really able to do that. And so we have to chart our own paths. We have to build that dream. We have to analyze our skills to say, hey, if I want to get over to here, what do I need to get there and how do I achieve it? And so this conference is going to be a lot, talking a lot about that and really igniting, women to take that next step and to build those skills, make connections. There are going to be a lot of networking opportunities. We are providing an AI workshop because I want, everyone to come and have a hands-on experience so that when you leave there, you're going to be 2 to 3 steps further from where you're at now with regard to, knowing AI, which I think is huge. There's a career igniter hub, which is going to be a great place to come for job seekers. They can meet companies who are hiring. We're going to have coaches. We have 2 coaching corners there. Women can schedule 15-minute coaching sessions. Robert Half is sponsoring. They're going to be doing theater sessions all throughout the day, each of the days on different negotiation skills, personal branding, building your resume, just different things like that. So all little steps to help people on their career progression. And then, of course, incredible keynotes and breakout sessions, which will be all on, education and professional development.
It's such a rock star packed. I know it's super, super packed. There's everything that you need, right? Professional and personal development, great people, and it's in Dallas. There's still time to come join us. In the comments, we'll drop a link to register. And if you are in Texas, you can get 10% off. So just use 10 off. And yeah, just really, really excited. And I think you're 100% right that people are yearning to be together.
Mm-hmm.
I think while we're, AI and everything, technology is changing everything. I think that we're going to see this like analog sort of movement happen again, because people are craving that
Yes.
personal connection. People don't want to be on social media all the time, right? They
Yeah.
don't want, they're tired. They're getting fatigue of the virtual conversations and virtual coffees, So I know I am, right?
Yeah.
I work at home all the time with my team. So that's why I get really excited when I can go to different events and meet and mingle and fill my extroverted cup.
Yeah.
So definitely check it out. If you are listening right or watching right now, go to the WIT website. There might be a chapter. Most likely there's a chapter.
Yeah.
Most likely you will have it in your city. And I mean across the globe, because I have people that, follow me from across the globe. And so you could become a member for free if you want. And then you could decide if you want to pay. It's a couple $100 for the year. Highly suggest that you consider that opportunity. Christine, you're a doll. I'm so glad.
Aw, so are you.
Oh,
So are you. Yeah, and if people, if we don't have a community out there in their areas, they can start a community. And that's a great way to flex some leadership skills, communication skills, teamwork skills. We have a whole WIT in a box that can help you get your community off the ground, and lots of other community leaders that you can pair up with, to learn more about the experience. But thank you so much for having me. And again, I'm just so glad that we've stayed in touch. I think that's really important to note that, one of the big things I like to talk about is networking and building relationships and nurturing those relationships. And, you never know where things are going to lead in the future, how you're going to, I'll say need, but, can partner with people out there. And so, we've stayed in touch, you and I, over all these years. And now look at us, supporting each other in ways that, is so important for both of our organizations, which is great. And, you talked about events, and it was so lovely to see you. I saw you at an event recently too. Yeah, I went to 3 events in Q4 of last year, and I did more for my business at those 3 in-person events than I did in the last like 2 years with regard to leads and business. And so it just goes to show it's so important to be out there and to be networking and meeting people, because then those people are going to introduce you to other people. And again, it's that nice face to face, shake your hand, give a hug, that kind of stuff. You know what? The age of technology and all of that, it's not going to do away with the fact we're still humans and we like to do business with other humans. And so I just want to put a little plug in there that, in-person events really do help you to scale your business.
oh yes. Huge, 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 huge. Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
All
thank you
right.
so
Thank
much.
you.
See you soon, everybody. Thanks for watching.
See you in Texas.
Yes. See you next month, everyone. Thanks so much for watching.